Hi, this is the U-boat which has been in process for months. I think partly because I'm just not used to making ships of any kind. It's been very rare. In fact, I think I've only got a landing craft so far in my collection. So this is quite different. It's 1/72 scale, so a man, 6-foot man, is an inch high in this scale. I've got figures to add to this eventually. But I keep coming up against struggles, bits that begin to loom as I get near them and start thinking, oh my God, how am I going to, etc., etc. And I get a bit stuck. But I am beginning to make some progress now. And I've got the...
So before you carry on, I'm going to now zoom, because I had it on you. I'm going to zoom in because you can't see the U-boat.
No,
really.
It's too long.
It's too big. Okay, carry on.
I mean, it's a long kit, and even just manoeuvring it around on my desk is hard work. I keep banging into things, and I don't want to start knocking things off. But got the tower glued on last night. The tower is more or less complete.
So you'd got the tower glued on.
But I'm getting used to it. I glued the tower on last night, having done most of the tower. Today I'm working on the railings. The kit itself, because it's a premium version, which includes photo etch, which I can show you for those who don't know. A lot of manufacturers do this now. They will supply you with sheets of fine metal. This one's brass, this one's stainless steel. And you cut out the pieces and bend them and shape them, and you get better detail. Revel, not one of my more favourite brands. They rather variable. This that they supply does save it. The problem is that it would originally come out with one set of instructions when it was all just plastic. Then I think they decided to add these bits to zhuzh it up a bit, give it a bit more glamour and a bit more, which is okay. But they didn't rewrite the instructions. They just added a separate set of instructions. So you have to keep dodging between one set of instructions and the other, knowing what to do with the metal bits. But I'm getting there slowly. Doing research on YouTube and other places just to find out what's what and where. And the etch metal does supply, railings. You may not be able to see them. There's one huge one long one there and others that would replace this. But actually, it struck me I'd end up with flat sheets, and these would have been round, rod, bent and welded, so I'm using those. I'm still gluing these in place, so that one's drying at the moment with a clamp around it. But I'm quite pleased with where it's going. I'm not sure I've got it as accurate as I would like it to be in terms of its detail or its colours. This is about as close as I can get, and I'm sort of going to let myself off with that. I've managed to use... I used a stencil, an AK as a brand, of random blotching.
You don't need to move it, I've focused on it.
So you can just about see there's a lighter grey blotching all over random, which I think works rather well. I'm quite pleased with that. Then apparently about a foot below the waterline, which is about along here, you would get a build-up of algae. So I represented that with some, I used pigment powder, which I diluted a bit and dabbed on slightly, dry brush slightly. So there's a sort of greenish band. I mean, the big thing with the U-boat is it's underwater a lot. It's under the salt. It's getting splashed by weather. It would spend a lot of time on the surface because they did, but it would get splashed a lot. So there's a huge amount of rust and weathering to add. Every single one of these holes that I've drilled out needs to have a sort of certain outpouring of rust, bits of it.
And when you were doing those holes,
Yeah.
you had to do several ways to do them, didn't you? It became quite difficult, and then you got your drill out. I think originally it was really not working so well.
Well, yes, I was faced with that hand drilling every single one, and I thought that's gonna. So I bought myself a small rechargeable pen size electric drill, which works really nicely with a set of drills, and I just use that to drill them all out. Because on this, but there are two hulls. There's an inner hull where the machinery and the crew are, and torpedoes and the rest of it, going up into the tower a bit. Then there's the outer hull, but the seawater sloshes between the two. And under this deck, there would be seawater coming in and out, flushing out through these holes, carrying rust, oil, crud, and the rest of it. So my once I've got these in place, the railings, there's more to come. I will paint those, and then I've got to spend time rusting the lot, putting rust on, in small enough, realistic enough amounts, and it's a level of weathering I don't normally apply. If I'm doing military vehicles, you can just cover them in mud and dust and crud, and that works. Seawater on submarines, it's not the same. It's all new to me, so it's hard going. I can show you. I spent quite a bit of time, and again they added quite a bit of extra detail for the guns. If I can get that to go in, I had to add swivels to that, which does give me quite a sense of scale. There are men on those. Damn. There are 20mm twin cannon to mount here, two of those. This is a Mark 7, apparently the most common form of U-boat. There were more developed ones later, but I think this is a late version. Originally they came with a front deck gun, and they could attack ships, transport ships going across it. They would come up, they went on the surface, just fire at it with this 88mm gun, much cheaper than using a torpedo. That was okay until there were convoys and armed escorts, and so they couldn't keep doing that. So then they would attack underwater using the torpedo tubes. 4 up the front. There's actually 1 at the rear.
Which I can't see where I'm standing.
No.
If you wait, if you pause it. No, pause.
Yeah, there's 4 torpedo tubes, 2 each side. I've chosen to have the doors open. You can have them closed or open. Actually, this is going to be shown as on the surface with the crew, gun crew and so on, active up there. And the doors wouldn't be open until they sighted a target. But I, just for the added drama, I've got them open just to look a bit more warlike, I suppose you'd say. So there's still a lot to do, a massive amount of weathering. But I'm sort of picking up speed a bit, I think, is what I'm finding gradually. Got markings on, not be able to see just yet. But as I say, this is a late war version when it was adapted and developed, and it's got a snorkel, which is laid down at the moment, and it's a bit difficult to raise, so I won't. But it was a late adaptation, so the snorkel could go up. The thing with these, they were much faster on the surface than underwater, and underwater they ran solely on batteries, and they were quite slow underwater. The snorkel enabled them to stay below the surface with just the snorkel sticking up, and the periscopes. That's the standard periscope. There's an attack periscope further forward. Because the biggest menace for U-boats was aircraft. There was a mid-Atlantic gap the aircraft couldn't reach originally, so they were moderately safe there until escort carriers were developed, which could fly. They were cargo ships with flying decks put on them, so they could fly aircraft off those. Swordfish, wildcats, which were quite effective anti-submarine. They could search quite distances and attack with depth charges or rockets, I think. But the biggest change was when the RAF Coastal Command got hold of American Liberators, and which had very long range, and they closed this mid-Atlantic gap. So the biggest opponent for U-boats was aircraft attack, and aircraft could come out using radar. They could pick up these things on radar. I think they even got them to be able to pick up just the periscope sticking up. So they could appear quite suddenly. So the big thing was to stay on the surface for as long as you could for range and speed, with your anti-aircraft guns fully stocked. No bow gun, because you're not going to attack ships with that, but your anti-aircraft weapons grouped here. And as soon as you see one, you either crash dive, and I think there was a stage at which they used to stay on the surface and just fight it out. They've got a 37mm cannon there, multiple fire, like a Bofors gun, similar. 4 20mm cannons here, more rapid fire. So it's a pretty effective anti-aircraft defence. Aircraft like Liberators had turrets at the front. I believe Sunderlands and others began to fit 4 machine guns just firing forwards, Sunderland flying boat, so they could deter this lot from taking too much part while they came across and attacked. They could attack at night using the ley light. They could, come in as close as they could with radar, turn this bloody great light on under the wing, illuminate the sub while they attacked it. So the whole thing swung backwards and forwards. I think Churchill said the U-boats war was the thing that frightened him most. He thought the greatest risk was U-boats cutting off the supply for Britain, which was desperately needed, especially in the build-up to the invasion of Europe through Normandy. Churchill said a lot of things, and some of them were crazy, but it's another story. So this is where I've got to. I shall get around to doing the crew when I've done the rest of it.
And I think that we had made a vlog before, but it didn't get published. I'm not really sure what happened. I think I might have dumped it by mistake. So okay. This is the first vlog. Yeah. Are you able to hold the box up?
Yeah. Picture of the cover of the box.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
I think that's a picture of one that's camouflaged, I think.
No, you're looking at it and we're not.
Yeah, I think they got camouflaged more often in the Mediterranean because apparently in a clearer sea you could fly over them and still see them underwater. So camouflage might have helped. But this is mine set up for the Atlantic. Nice prize, was it? Platinum edition. There we are. Right. Thank you very much. See you again. I've done some more.
Thanks for subscribing.
Oh, so yeah, whatever that means.
Thanks for all your comments and your interest.
Yes, all that.
They're things you're meant to say, not me.
Thank you for your interest. I mean, I know, I'm things like this interest me. I find it difficult to believe anybody else is interested, but, there you go.
Okay.